Welcome everybody again to this panel discussion, to this that we decide to call Cake Talk. You get right why it's called Cake Talk. I think I don't need to explain. I would like to briefly introduce our two co-TMs for people that are watching us or that don't know you already. And we have Raffaello Barri. Hi, Raffaello, thanks for being with us today.
For inviting.
He is a data consultant at BIP in Milan, in Italy. And he was awarded Knime Contributor of the Month in December 2022. And why, you may wonder? Because he had excelled in providing advanced solutions for basically almost a year of just Knime challenges. So it was a great commitment, great solutions, advanced solutions, and ever since has been also super active and supporting users on the Knime forum. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
And our next guest, our next co-TM is Arjen Peters. So welcome and thank you for joining us also today on this Cake Talk. He's an aircraft data consultant. Very complicated. We'll talk about what it is later.
Sure.
And support engineer at Exsyn Aviation Solutions in Amsterdam. So thank you for coming all the way as well from the Netherlands to Germany. He's sort of a junior COTM graduate in a sense, because he received the award or the prize, let's say, in June of this year. So quite recent. And why, you may wonder again? He has excelled, let's say, in providing technical support on the forum. So we have, as Knime user, we often use the forum as our main source to get help, and he has excelled in how constant, how well crafted this answer, and to the value that it brings to the community. So thank you again. And also, even if we don't have it here today with us, I would like to thank all the other Knime contributors of the month of this season for the great, incredible work as teachers, as developers, as supporters, as social media influencer that they do in their daily work or in their daily usage of Knime across all the year. So thank you very much, and we hope to have you one day also with us in presence in Constance or one or other venues. We have a great audience. Thank you for this. All right, so I would say let's start with our conversations, otherwise it's a monologue. I've already introduced a little bit what you guys do, who you are, but I think you are the best people to introduce yourself. So I would like to ask you to introduce yourself, your professional self, and how you work with data. So, Raffaello, you want to go first, maybe?
Okay, please. So again, Raffaello, I'm 28 and I live and work in Milano. I work with data in, let's say, not in a complex way as Arjen. Let's say I started with Excel and I had my ups and downs and then moved to Knime. I've been using it for like the last 2 years, and me switching from one software to Knime was totally smooth. So I'm very glad I discovered this software. It solved me a lot of issues.
A lot of time, maybe also, right?
A lot of time, a lot of painful problems. Yeah.
A lot less headaches right now.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. Okay, and Arjen, what about you?
Yeah, I work as an aircraft data consultant, and for us, Knime is our main platform.
Okay.
What we often do is data migration. We extract data from a source system, we transform it according to business and technical rules, and then we create a particular output that a new system wants. So we help airlines, we help maintenance organizations to make sure that their data gets across smoothly, and we use Knime full time for that. So
that's basically a huge ETL pipeline.
It's the biggest pipeline that we have. So Knime is our number one tool. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds quite great. And so thank you for sharing this a little more about yourself. And I would like to, we already partially replied to this question, but I will still, go deeper into the details of this. How do you think Knime can actually help anyone working really with data, whether they are data engineers or maybe data scientists or data analysts? we have, different data personas, data professionals out there. So and maybe even regardless of their background, right? So do you have, Arjen already told us that he's working a lot with ETL pipelines. Do you have a take in other directions also for other professionals?
Yeah, I think for me, the main point here is that Knime is a very versatile tool. So you can get as complex as you like. We choose to make it very complex and push the system a little bit, but you can start very basic. There are very basic workflows, very basic nodes, but ultimately that can still help you and that can save you time and make your operation more and more efficient. So what I like is that Knime is used for a lot of different industries. So you have a lot of extensions, community extensions, which are dedicated to chemistry and all that kind of topics. So Knime is a very versatile tool, and you can get as crazy as you like, and that's what I like about the platform as well.
Yeah, thanks, Raffaello. Do you have something else to add?
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, but I think that one of the best things I like about Knime is the fact that it really helps you focus on the thing that matters, so getting the results. If you, personally, at university, I took a very small machine learning course, and I had to know the theories, the algorithms, and how they work, of course, but also I had to be able to code in Python, which for a management engineer is not
easy to understand.
Yes. Also, I had no time to learn how to properly code in Python. So I understood that I had to spend a lot of time practicing on coding when the real results, what mattered, was on the other side. With Knime, you can, let's say, minimize the time spent working on secondary aspects and be more focused on your results.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that is great is the fact that you can hide all this complexity. So if you have, I don't know, some colleagues that are not so confident modeling or crunching numbers, you can help them and also hide all the complexity and let them play with few parameters and stuff, so that everyone is happy. Me as a developer, so that everything is, let's say, limited. This is your playground, don't go out. And also for them, because they say, cool, I have my playground, I know what to use and what to touch, and that's it.
They don't get scary by so much complexity, right? And they can still get what they need.
That's why we also build data apps a lot, just so that the user only has to click a few buttons, select a connection that he wants to use. We do all the hard work on the background. They only give we only give what they need.
In the end, all you need is just a button to press, right? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
that's useful. Okay, and I would like now to go a little bit deeper into your personal experience with the software. And so, how did you come across with Knime Analytics platform? And what was your first impression at the time when you first encountered the software? Did you have there was at some point a wow or a turning point in your relationship, let's say, with the software? Who want to start? Maybe you can start.
Yeah, for us, the main reason why we eventually got to Knime is the Knime server and also creating components and meta nodes, because that was the biggest issue that we had. We were reusing or reinventing the wheel quite a lot for something which was more or less similar. Since the projects that we do often have the same characteristics, so we were looking for that standardization. And that's what Knime had to offer for us. So that was the biggest plus as to why we chose the platform. Since all of us were already used to ETL tools and this kind of system, the transition was relatively smooth, but we were first looking around quite a lot because you're used to a particular way of working, you're used to nodes, and we were quite uncertain at first what are the Knime equivalent ones. Something that we could do in one step at first had to be done in 3 steps in Knime, etc. So we started a list of saying this is the old node, this is the Knime equivalent. We also came together quite a lot initially, since we're a small group. So we just sat down asking each other, how did you solve this? How did you do this? Have you already seen this node, etc.? And then gradually we started to internally build the Knime knowledge. I can get the most out of the system, basically. Yeah.
So you migrate not only the tool but also the people, right? At some point,
Yeah,
it's a complex part.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But, yeah, cool. And what about you, Raffaello? How was your first encounter with Knime? What was your impression?
Well, it was my former boss, Niccolo, who introduced me to Knime. He told me about the low coding approach and also some software I could have a look to. But at the time he told me this, I had no time because still I was trying to improve using my improve my Excel, PowerPoint, and Power BI skills. Okay, so I had to wait for the summer. I came back from a holiday, still had some days off, so I get bored easily. So I said, okay, let's start learning Knime. But it was a great decision because after that, I came back to work and said, listen, I've taken the courses and this is the result. And he said, that's cool, but you won't be able to fully understand the potentialities of the software just playing around with these examples. Start using it at work.
Okay.
So he started assigning me tasks that I would normally perform using Excel. And at the beginning, it was struggling, but I've been lucky because I had the opportunity to use it 8 hours a day and sometimes even more because after finishing work, closed the file, saved it, and opened the other ones I had with my personal stuff. And that went on for weeks, months. And after that, Excel who? Yeah.
You never touch it afterwards.
For very, very, let's say, stupid computations and stuff like that, taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite great. Yeah, that's that's mentorship, right?
Yeah.
Also from his side. So you were lucky, I guess, also to have somebody in your upskilling that was a mentor, not only a boss, maybe. So
yeah,
that's quite great. And so, yeah, I think you already mentioned it a little bit from your answer. I think we already got it. But so do you think that in essence, is Knime making your work more agile, more or faster or smoother? If you were to pick like a couple of adjectives, what would they be?
Yeah, I think in many ways, workflows that we now create are mainly standardized. So we have a lot of components that we create. We have our own library of components, and at the moment, once we have touched upon a particular topic or a particular request that we get from a customer, we now have a workflow on the shelf which we can pull off. We only have to change the input, and all of the rest is already there. So that greatly saves us time. Also on the data app side that we have. Whenever we get a request from a customer, we can just grant them access, and the workflows are built in such a way that we do not have to do anything anymore. So those are that's the biggest benefit that we get from using Knime and the Knime server. That also helps our customers because they come with the requests. It takes us an hour to get them up and running, and everyone is happy basically.
Of course. So your reusability and automation at their best.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. How would you describe, like, if you were to use an adjective or to describe like how Knime has improved or affected or, let's say, enhanced your work?
I think if I have to pick a word, I'd say independent, because after learning the basics, you get an idea. Not complete, because there's a lot of stuff you can do, but you get a basic idea of all the opportunities you have. You just need to go on the forums, seek for some examples that can fit your case, and then you can really do whatever you want. Yeah. I was asked to solve some, let's say, problems that were more complex, and sometimes problems that were very stupid tasks, okay? But I understood that whatever the problem, I just needed to take some time, think about how to approach the problem, and then solve it. And I always do it by myself. and the forum, of course, but still
Yeah.
not asking anyone, maybe someone with more tech skills or specific skills. I didn't have to wait for no one giving me answers or help.
Okay, that's great. And also, people on the forum then find you guys who are experts and great supporters. So I guess it's even better, right?
People start tagging you already.
Exactly.
When asking questions, yeah.
They know who to ask
Yeah, they know
for a
where to go,
specific
yeah.
set of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that later. Okay, and so if you were to name, let's say, a feature, a Knime feature or a Knime node that you say, this is my favorite, I couldn't do without, what would that be?
Yeah. By
Yeah.
chance, we both mentioned column expressions.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's a case.
Not by chance, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not by
nice.
chance.
Okay, yeah.
For us, in our case, we use a lot of calculations which are condition based, and that's column expression. That's an easy task. It's also a bit of a personal preference in what the syntax of column expression is. It's just easy to write. You have all the buttons to click, all the functions that are available to you. So yeah, I basically don't have a script anymore which does not have a column expression. So that's just the number one for me.
Yeah,
to work
it's
with.
very powerful. It's very powerful. And
very
it's
powerful.
often the case that people mention it as one of their favorites.
Yeah.
Do you have probably similar explanation, Raffaello?
Yes, exactly the same. Because you can do very different things that maybe you can find in specific nodes, but all at once.
Right.
So maybe it's not the best advice, because if you are using something like Knime, you should use specific nodes for each task. But if you have something that it has to be quickly made, it's the best option. Yeah.
At some point, the column expression will start to struggle if you put a few million rows in it. So then you are at the point where you might still have to switch to the other nodes to perform the same operation. But for like smaller data sets, it would be the most powerful
Okay,
tool that I have. Yeah,
we get that. We get this. We should probably do statistics about what the answer we get, because this is often the case that people mention this node. And now I have a question specific for Raffaello. So, people, you have been listening from Raffaello and how Knime has enabled for him to work independently, and how he is a contributor of the month, so he must have excelled in the usage of Knime. But you probably be surprised that he started using the software roughly a year ago, right? Maybe a little bit more than a year ago. So not
slightly more.
We're not talking about 20 years of experience or 10 years of experience,
and also still from, let's say, a management background. So I'm not a coder, not
but still, like, you reach great result, and you also now are a reference for support on the forum. So
for Thomas,
So it's great. It's great. And my question then would be, how easy it was to actually learn Knime, and how long did it actually take you? Like, if you would say 1 month, 2 months to actually get up to speed.
I'm very glad to say that this learning period never stopped. The platform is so big with so many things that there's always something more you want to get to know and to use. But let me say that to get that famous 20% knowledge that can get you to the 80% of problems, citing the Pareto law, might be a couple of months.
Okay.
But I was very lucky because, as I told you, I could use it extensively for at work. It's very important for me that a beginner doesn't approach this as something that you do, let's say, once and then you let things pass by and so on. There's an Italian saying that goes, batti il ferro finché è caldo. So keep beating the iron until it's hot. Because if you leave things, if you let time pass by, the iron gets cold and you beat and nothing happens. Keep practicing, be patient with yourself, and you will see.
And keep going. Yeah, that's a very good. So people, you get a piece of advice as well. And because you join also so many just Knime challenges, did maybe that help you also have a let's say a look or your perspective into different maybe parts of the software that you maybe don't necessarily use in your daily work routine?
Yeah, let me tell you that at work, sometimes I have to solve problems and I say, I remember that I see this part in a certain challenge, like the one REST APIs with genes. Do you remember? I do, because I used it many times. So I say, I don't remember the number. Let me scroll through the website. Here's it. It's number 12. It's number 15, whatever. I download the solution and then go back to how you do that. Because of course, if you are facing this kind of problems once in a while and not very frequently, you don't remember them. It was a great way, and I think it was a brilliant way for you to speak about some corner problems, some niche that is not easy to not easy to solve. So you gave many examples about how to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually back to the idea, right? A little bit to provide a sort of diffuse way of upskilling people, different topics and touching different techniques. And because not everybody maybe does machine learning at work, or not everybody does calls to REST API services. So it's exactly that's the point, right? So thank you for this answer. And actually have a question also for both of you, because as I said already, they are very much active on the forum. They give great support. And so first of all, would you like to share your forum handle or your username so people can, tag you more?
We don't need all.
What are you called? Do you have a funny one? Fun username?
Just a simple one, RNEX. That's it.
Okay.
Very easy to find.
So people take notes. What about you, Raffaello? What is it?
Leloba.
Okay. Yeah. So we have now. You guys have it. You can back them on the forum.
We'll check our boxes after this.
And do you have sort of a kind of area of specialty when you answer questions? There like some question that thinks, okay, this is definitely my area. I can definitely support this user who is asking a question.
Yeah, for me, it's mainly basic data manipulation, regex, calls to APIs. That's also what I do quite a lot. Looping, recursive loop is always a very tricky one, which people have a lot of issues with.
I agree.
So that's it's just let's say the core features of Knime in terms of manipulation. So column expressions, of course, since that is our most favorite node. Yeah, those are the main area. Anything related to Python, I stay away. I always scroll past those. So I just pick and choose wherever I see fit that I can help out. So that's how I usually scroll through the forum.
For the question. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Raffaello? Do you have also an area of specialty?
I think I can agree with him because basically I see the question and I try to imagine the solution. Wherever I can help, I'm glad to.
Okay.
So it's just like more or less a form of giving back what I've taken for so long. So read through many questions, answered by other people, then being answered to when I directly make a question. And also at some time I understood that my level was enough to start helping back others. So that's it.
That's perfect. And do you have maybe one question that was especially hard that you were very proud that you actually could provide a solution? Do you have this memory?
It's actually what I wrote in the book. There's a chapter that I wrote, which is handling API responses in a recursive loop. So that's mixing the two of them. That took quite some hours to finally figure out.
Okay.
So that was one of the biggest challenges that I worked with. Yeah.
That's commitment. That's commitment.
And how to solve it is then available and written down in the book. So the details are there.
Yeah. So people, please go to the website. It's for free. Download it. Enjoy it. Yeah. What about you, Raffaello? Do you have a question that was like, oh, this is very hard, but I managed to still provide an answer?
I had to think about this question for a while. And honestly, I don't have a question that was so difficult that made me sweat. There was a situation that I came up to, and it was, I remember, something that it was not so technically difficult, but I think that me and the user I was trying to help didn't quite understand each other. So he said, let's go in a Zoom meeting and try to solve it directly.
Okay.
But at the point I accepted, I had no clear idea what the problem was because I could not understand it. I could not see the problem. So I went inside a meeting without knowing what the problem was. Maybe I was not even able to solve it. I was using Knime. I'd been using Knime for something like 6 months, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. So my level was not that good. But still, after 1 hour and a half inside the team, I managed to solve it.
That's great.
Yes, I'm stubborn. So I said,
Not let go.
I won't let it go.
Yeah.
I have to solve it. I have to.
That's great. And also, that's a great testimony of what commitment that the Knime community support is, right? You even went on a call with this person to actually try to, help this person that would, whoever doubts that community support is not good, you haven't met these people clearly. Okay, and I have a question that tries to look a little bit forward into the future. Recently we had, data science and data analytics is changing and evolving constantly, right? There's no one endpoint. And so let's say the cool kit of the moment is AI. It's large language models and all this conversation around this. And so I wanted to ask whether you are using or if you have tried to use the Knime, an extension for AI, so for the nose around LLM. Have you tried using it already?
Yeah, we've done a few test projects. Normally, we do not really use it because we are often bound to business rules. Aviation is a very regulated business as well, so regulation and AI is a bit of a gray area still. Mainly, we're looking at natural language processing, NLP nodes. We have played around with some active learning.
Okay.
So it's normally that we get a certain request from a customer, and then that triggers us saying, well, hey, we could potentially deploy NLP here. So we're testing around, we're gradually improving. We have a lot of interns and graduates that we take along, and we tell them,
experiment, go, try,
have fun. And we'll see on the other side, and we'll see what you created. So we just use those kind of projects to develop that, to use it more in detail. But that's more or less still in a sort of development stage. So we just take it off the shelf whenever we see fit that we can use it.
Yeah.
One idea that we recently put on the shelf is we also use support tools from our software providers. And what we often have is that we encounter an issue and then we need to search on that support tool if there was already a similar case. So what we're thinking about is scraping that entire support tool, put it in a model, and then that should give us the opportunity to say, well, I'm encountering this issue, give me an output saying these are all of the similar support cases that have been issued previously. Look at the answers that were provided there, and that should then also save us time. So it's in that range that we're looking
it's
to.
a massive similarity that search, basically. So
that hopefully enhances and reduces our workloads.
And makes stuff much faster, probably.
For sure. Definitely.
Okay, cool. And do you have have you played with this nodes or with this extension or with LLMs in general?
I think I played with this extension when it was released, but just for the sake of curiosity, no special need to be solved. So I'd say yes, but it's more like a no.
I see. Yeah, and in general, as Arjen was mentioning, there is, in business context, there are obviously also other concerns, right? Data, privacy, confidentiality, and all those things that, of course, if you use a API-based service, then you have to be careful of.
It's very scary for most to give data away to an AI model because they don't really know what's happening under the hood. So.
It's complex.
Yeah, we need to convince them first as well before we actually start doing it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Of the need of it.
Yeah, of the need of it.
Right? Absolutely. We are almost basically reaching the end. I would like to ask, since we have an audience, maybe people that are online don't know, but we have an audience here, and I would like to ask if there is any question from the audience for our guests. Do you guys have questions?
maybe I was wondering if there is a particularly work product you remember that you were shocked about how maybe simply and with not few nodes you achieve some complex result on the other end.
Good question.
Something very simple.
To be honest, typically I'm astonished by how the problem became how, let's say, the question was complex and how complex the workflow becomes, and how simple the output is. That's my typical situation. Finding a workflow that was so easy, but I don't know.
Here we have some complex question also from
Yeah.
the audience.
And what I normally do in such cases, then on at face value, it might look simple, but if you look in the notes, I can still have a column expression or a Java snippet which has 60 lines, which deals with all of the rules that I need to apply. So it's a bit of a relative term. Yeah, for us, we are not really surprised by anything anymore at this stage because we have seen so many cases. So we just find the most optimal one depending on what we need to do. So yeah, for us, there is not really a layer anymore in complex or simple. Yeah,
It's more about in the end, the entire process, right? Whether they work.
yeah, it's all connected to each other in the end. So basically, every single node is depending and then waiting on what's happening before that. So yeah, it comes in so many levels that it's a bit hard to give a specific example on that. Yeah.
Okay. We are with this. We are basically about to conclude our cake talk. And so I would like to thank you again for being with us, for answering my questions and for sharing your expertise and your knowledge. And with that, I would like actually to call back Rosaria on stage because we will shortly continue to the award ceremony.